just me and my guitar.
Welcome back, guys. Mark here from Mark's Aquatics, back in the workshop. Right, on today's little video, you're looking at the test kits in front of you. Now, this is my test kit. This is the one that they sent for me, and they also sent me this one as well. Now, as you're well aware, they sent me two, but this one was for the marine test kit, and this one was for the freshwater test kit as well. Okay, now they're both nearly exactly the same. Okay, the only differences between them are you've got the calcium and the magnesium down there, which you obviously don't need for your freshwater tests, and that's the only difference. Is so you've got those little few bottles there, but the rest of them there you're fine. You've got the silicate tests there, you've got the oxygen, you've got pH, you've got your nitrate, nitrite, ammonia. All the other tests that you're going to need are in there. Okay, there's copper as well, which comes in very handy if you've got a planted tank, or you've got something, you know, a shrimp tank, and you think you may have copper poisoning. You can test and to test for the copper to see if anything's gone wrong there. Now, I thought I'd go through them with you again because we're getting close to 2,000 subs now, which I'm super excited about. And what I was going to mention is, now I've looked back on this Pick a Winner from on TubeBuddy, and how it works, it picks a random winner from the comments for that particular video. And I was just looking through it, and I thought, well, the first one I did, the first giveaway that you saw, where I put this one up for 2,000 subs giveaway, only had 33 comments on it. Now, it picks from the comments, okay, from that particular video. So when this video goes out, guys, if you want a chance to win this kit, you've got to put a message on it, even if it's something very simple like "hope it's me" or whatever. Just make sure you comment on it, give it a thumbs up or whatever, and it'll pick your comment. Yours could be picked out from that random pick. Okay, that's what I wanted to get across, because there's only 33 of you in the original one, which I'm sure you will be very glad of, because you've got a 33. There's only 33 of you, so you've got a good chance of getting it there. But because I want it to be fair to everybody, if you'd like, say, comment on it, whack a thumbs up on it or whatever, and like I said, I will send this to whoever wins it, no matter where you are. Okay, I say it came to me free of charge from JBL, and they wanted me to do a review on it. And obviously, with the tank that we've built behind, we're going to be testing, and we're going to be going through the nitrogen cycle with this test kit, which is what we're going to do today. We're going to go through a couple of tests ammonia wise, because that's the first creep up, as you know, through the nitrogen cycle, is the ammonia spikes up first, and then you get your nitrite, sorry, and then you get your nitrate, and you finish off there. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through those little tests. Now, these test kits are super easy to use, they really are. You've got the cards there, which shows you how many mil of water you need. Like, you need 5 mil of water in the vial first, then you use your different reagents. Reagents 1, 4 drops, reagent 2, 4 drops, and then reagent 3, 5 drops. So it's 4 drops and 5 drops. Wait 15 minutes, and then you correspond your colours, which are in here. After 15 minutes you'll see what you've got in correspondence to the chart. Okay, so they are super easy to use, super quick to use, and they are an absolutely amazing bit of kit. They really are. I've had one before a long time ago, one of these kits from JBL, and I actually gave it away to my brother when I gave up the hobby for a little time, when I was doing something different, and I gave it to him when he started up. So he was using that, and he found it amazingly easy to use as well. We'll go through it here. We got the that's a phosphate test kit up there, okay, to check your phosphates in your water. We don't want any phosphates in our aquariums, because that's obviously going to encourage algae to grow, and we don't want any algae, if we can help it, growing in our tank. We want nice clean water and healthy plants and everything. And we got the silicate as well. Now, silicate tests, if you're not really familiar with them, you get a lot of silicates in the stones. It's harmless. Silicates are completely harmless, they're not going to do you any harm. It's in your drinking water, but that's what happens when you're adding it to your drinking water. It's stronger in some places than others. You get more because it leaches from the stones into the waters, into rivers, and it's just natural. It's just one of the most abundant things in nature, silicate. So silicon. So it's not toxic, but it is an amazing food for algae. Okay, and algae loves it. So if you've got high silicate in your water, you're going to have to get JBL do a silicate treatment, which will reduce the silicate in your tank and get rid of it and absorb it, and that's pretty good stuff as well if you've got high silicate in your area. But with this little series of tests here, you can test how much is in your water supply. And then we go into what do we got next? We've got NO2 there, which is nitrite. You'll get the old nitrite going. Nitrate test kit. Then we've got the copper test kit there. Now copper is very important obviously in a planted tank because your plants utilise copper and they feed off it, but obviously in higher dosages it's lethal to shrimp, and as we know, we use it for medication for treating our fish. If we've got white spot or things along those nature, we'll use copper to kill those parasites off. We've got the NH4, which is the ammonia. This is the first stage in the nitrogen cycle where that ammonia builds up first, and we'll test for that one today. Oxygen as well. Obviously if you've got a planted tank, your plants are going to be creating the oxygen during the day, releasing that oxygen, taking that CO2 in, turning that to crude carbohydrates, sorry, and then releasing that oxygen back out into the aquarium, which is going to benefit all the inhabitants in there. Okay. pHs as well. We've got 7.4 to 9.0, and we got 3.0 to 10, and we got 3.0 to 10 there. Iron as well is another very important one if you've got a planted tank, because your plants are utilising the iron as well. So if you're testing for your iron and you find that your test is running low on iron and you've got to buff it up a bit, put some iron in. You can use Ferropol, which is made by JBL, or the Ferropol 24, which is a daily drop which you can put in, and you can bring your levels up and you can test your levels and bring them back up to par then what they should be, because your plants are going to be using that all the time, you see. Got your general hardness as well and your carbonate hardness tests, which will all come in handy later on for the little shrimps and things we're going to be putting in there. We've got to get things right there, so that's another test we can do. And obviously it comes with two 5mm syringes up there. You've got a little thermometer there and a pen for your notes, so you can take your charts and you can correspond on there what your results are. And obviously it comes with the Bible as well, which has got all the different nationalities, French, Dutch, it's got whatever, UK in there, German. It's all in there. And obviously we got little comparison charts as well for different pHs, calibrate to different KHs, and you can do a cross section on there and you can get your the right valuations there, so they can come out a minute. Underneath we've got lots of little test tubes here for different tests. Now what I tend to do, and what I will do on this, I'll mark on the top if it's NO2 or whatever's corresponding with these code names here. I'll write on the top of each vial, so I know I'm using that vial for that particular test and that one only. And obviously these are for the different tests where you need more water or you want to measure things out. It goes from 5mm up to 20mm. Okay, so you've got the level lines around there, so you can use those as well. Handy little things. You've got your little spoons for your different powders, which you've got to mix in with some of the different reagents to get your test results. They come in handy as well. Little spoons, they give you a complete correct measure for what you need. Right then, I think what we should do first, I think we should do an ammonia test first. So I'll clear these away. Like I said, guys, ammonia first, and then we'll go on to nitrite and nitrate. Okay. Right guys, that's me, coffee time again. As always guys, if you like these little videos, hit that button and subscribe to the channel for up and coming videos, and wallop that little notification bell in the corner of your screen there for up and coming videos. Okay, right, what I've got here now is I've got my little dripper which I've put into the tank, and I've got the 5mm jar there from out of the test kit. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it up. It's a 5mm, it goes 5, 10, 15, 20mm, okay, up the jars in increments up there. So all I'm going to do, I can take the top off of these jars. You put your jars in your block, okay, and you can see through the bottom there, which I'll show you in a minute. Now we've got to put 5mm of tank water in each one of these. So we'll drip that in there till we get to 5mm. Switch that off. Then we can pour that into one. Same again. Obviously, if you haven't got, I mean, I just set this up. This is just the way I do. I've always done my tests. I just found it an easier way, especially with this tank, because it's very narrow, as you know. And all the water just glides out of these because they're so polished, it's unreal. They just flies out. So right now we've got 5mm of water in each one of these. Now what we've got to do is follow our instructions. Now what you do is you keep the notched end open to the top. So when we turn it over, that corresponds with the line at the top. We'll go over there and I'll show you that in a minute, okay? Right, now what we've got to do is not put any of the reagents in this first jar. So I can stick the lid on that for a moment. And all the reagents, this is our test sample, okay, so it's just giving us a clear light window through the liquid onto the card colour underneath, okay? So it's giving us more of an accurate look through the water onto the colour. With this one, this is the one we put the reagents in, okay? Now it tells us here, obviously if you haven't got a dripper, use the syringe and 5mm of water in each one. And then you want NH4 number 1. Give them a good shake, make sure it's all nicely mixed up, because if you haven't used them for a while it's going to be sat there and it might separate slightly inside, so give it a good mix up. Take the top off, and now we want 4 drops of that reagent N41, NH4 sorry, number 1, into this jar. What I tend to do is I go out first, because sometimes you're going to get a bit of air come out. Just lose 1 drop. Number 4. Okay, so we can put the lid back on that. Don't get this stuff in your hands, guys, okay? I'd wear gloves if you've got them. Then obviously you can take it out of there, give it a swirl around. And then pop it back in there, okay? Now the same with the NH4 2. I've shaken these all up prior to doing this. So we want 4 drops of reagent 2 into there, lid back on, take that out, swirl it about, get that a good old mix up. I love doing all this chemistry stuff, it's great fun. I know it's daunting for a lot of people. They've said to me in the past, you know, all these tests and stuff, it's so hard to work them out, and I think if you just sit back and you just really slow, you know, get hold of the book, slowly read through it and get yourself adjusted to it. And they put it down in the books here. They're written very well, they're very easy to follow, okay? Right, now we've got the NH4 number 3 and we want 5 drops of that. Okay, and already you can see that's gone a yellowy colour. So we give that a good mix up, pop that back in there. Just going to pop that lid on a minute, and then we can turn over to our colour chart. Now, as soon as you've done that, time it now for 15 minutes. It says it on the edge of the test there with a little clock by it, 15 minutes. So time that on your watch, or set your alarm or your stopwatch. You can put, this is your indicator block here, and that's the way you want it to go, you see? That corresponds to that there. So you leave that on there for 15 minutes, and then we'll come back in 15 minutes and we'll go through the test, okay? Okay, we're back. It's been 15 minutes. Now we can take off the tops. Now what we do is we slide along now, and we correspond. Obviously we're looking through the clear side here to the colours which indicate how many parts per million of ammonia is in the system, or sorry, in your test, or in your system and in your test file. So what you do now is you slide that across there onto the first one. It's going to be hard for you guys to see, but what you want to do is you want to match up the colour in that one to the colour on that one. And already I can see there's ammonia in there. And where that ammonia is sitting is on number 2. Okay, so we're still in the okay range. That's 1 part per million in there of ammonia in that one. You can kind of see that colour. It's about 1 part per million there. And that's being yellowy green, which is what we do want, which is okay. That's indicating there's no ammonia. But we have a bit of ammonia in there, which I expected because it's a new system. Now I did put some pre-seeded media in the top in the shower, and also it's a piece of sponge which I put in from one of the other aquariums that I've got in the other room to seed it with the bacteria. And obviously the balls, the bio balls that Richard gave me from Pond Guru to seed that biohome media we put in there as well. Now they've shrunk down now to near enough nothing. I'll show you one in a minute. Well, not in a minute, but in a while. I'll show you what they are. Now they're just billions of bacteria that are released into the aquarium to colonise everything in there. So really, we got 1 part per million ammonia, which is what to be expected. There's nothing in there at all that's going to be producing any ammonia. Sorry, that's going to get hurt by any ammonia, but obviously there's nothing in there to feed on the ammonia as well. But the bacteria will feed on the ammonia and convert it, but obviously then it will get exhausted, so we've got to put something in there. Now what I've always tended to do is do a fishless cycle, and I normally put in a little bit of cooked prawn or something like that, or even a bit of fish food, just something, give it something to rot down in there and create that ammonia, which then gives obviously everything time. Your ammonia will build up and get consumed by the bacteria, but you need that ammonia to be going in there so it keeps everything in that cycle rolling. And because you can quite easily run out of things, and your bacteria then will die off because they're not feeding on these things, so your colony will die off. So we're going to build it up slowly. So that's that test. Make sure you rinse these jars out really well before and after you've used them, okay, in some fresh water, and then store them back away again. So we've got the ammonia test now, so we can write that down on our little card. We've got 1 part per million on the date, and then we can test it in a couple of 3 days time and see where we've gone now. But I think what we'll do is we'll put these two aside. That one's still full of tank water, So now we can put that one to the back for testing. Take another jar out, and then we can put 5 ml of water in that one as well. In fact, now what you do, I'm going to take that one out as well. Now I'm going to put on the top of there with my little Sharpie pen, wherever it's gone. Right, here it is. Right, I'm just going to grab the old Sharpie and I'm just going to write NH4 for ammonia on the top of that one, okay? There you go. Now I know that those two over there are for ammonia tests only, so we can put them to one side and we can wash them out later on. Right, now what we're going to test for is nitrite, which is NO2. Just write that on here. NO2 on the top of there. And NO2 on there. So now we know that one is for nitrite. So same again, take the lids off, pop your vials into your little block there, grab this one again and drip in 5 ml of water into there. You see, there you go, there's your increments up the side there, and then you just pour that into there like we did before. Put that to one side there, and now what we need to do is look at this again. Now what we've got again, we've got the 5 ml in the jar. Either use the syringe or the way I do it, it's entirely up to you, as long as you get 5 ml in there. Now we need NO2 number 1 and 2 reagent, which is that one and that one. So I can put those to the side again, give them a shake up. Yeah, I got the old CO2 running on this tank now, guys, and it's really going well. I've put it up a little bit, like I said in the last video, and I do apologise for the music in the last one. It was horrible. I did it all. I got a really slow download speed, and it takes forever to upload things from where I am. So I went through it all, and I thought it was a little bit loud. So I do apologise for that if I drove everyone completely bananas with that music, and it was a bit loud. Right, so as we did before, shake them up nicely. Number 2 there and number 1 there. Right, now we need 5 drops in our vial, which is going to be the nearest one to you. There you are, there's 5 of those. Take him out, swirl it around. As you can see, it's kind of yellowy colour. And then we got the NO2, which has been shook up as well. And we put 5 drops of that in there as well. Number 5. Take that out again. Swirl him around. Put our lids on. And then we can just turn the page over. And we got to wait 3 minutes for that one. So we can put that on our block. Give that another little stir. And wait for 3 minutes. Okay guys, 3 minutes has gone by now. I've just taken the lids off, and now we're just going to slide them across as we did before. So we've got some nitrite in the water there, as expected. And that to me looks like number 3, the colour. So you see we're just in that yellow now. We got 0.05 parts per million of nitrite in the aquarium water, okay? And as we know, as the ammonia goes up, you get the nitrite go up, and then over time they'll spike, and then they'll drop away, and then you'll just get your nitrates as well and get them down. So what we'll do now, we're just going to put these now to one side again. Put them over there. There's lots and lots of test files here to use. So now what we want to put on the top of these is NO3, which is nitrate. And there we are. Now we know what they are. So now it's the same old routine again. I'll just pause you a sec. Well, I've just put about 20 ml of water in there. These are the little syringes that come with the kit. And when you get yours, if you win it, you'll have 2 of those in your kit as well, okay? So now we've just got to I always do it a couple of times, purge that air out, and then draw that plunger up to the 5 ml mark there, okay? And then we just squirt that in. So we're just doing the same as we were doing before with the pipe, but we're just doing it with the syringe instead. So we're still putting 5 ml of water in each jar. Look at that, that little jar that little syringe fits perfectly in the top of there without falling in. I like things like that. Right, now we've got 5 ml of water in each one again. So now what we need is a different test this time, so we can put the NO2 for the nitrite test aside. And now what we've got for this one, we've got a powder region and the NO3 nitrate region there. So we'll shake them up. Now we need one of these little spoons. I've got loads of these spoons kicking around, and so there was one missing out of the test kit, which you're going to get, but I've put one of these back in instead, so you've now got 3, because I've got some more lying around somewhere. Now we've got to take the top of this powder off, being careful not to throw it all over the place. I should have my little white coat on doing this. Right, we've put that there. Now we want to come off of that one, put those aside, and then over the next page we've got your nitrate test, the NO3. So we look at the syringe again. It's got one syringe on there which is marked with a cross on the top on each one. Now that means that in all of them, most of them, that means you don't put any drops into this one, okay? If you're unfamiliar with that. So now we need 2 times spoons of the NO3 number 1 powder. So we stick that in there, and we tip that carefully into there. Tap that off, put your spoon back, cap this up. Right, now we bring that there, and then it says add 6 drops of region 2, NO3 2, cap him on. Put that on there, and it says with the arrows backwards and forwards, which means give it a good old shake up and mix it all together. Shake it for a minute. So I'm going to pause you for a minute while I make this cocktail. Right, I've just shaken the life out of this. As you can see, it's got that yellowy colour. A little bit of powder left at the bottom. That's probably going to dissolve. And now we pop that back into there, and our little chart now is saying place back on the colour side, which is over here, and wait for 10 minutes. Back on the block, on the starting block there. I'm going to leave that for 10 minutes, okay? Let's pop that lid back on there for a second. Right guys, it's been 10 minutes. So now we can slide that along. And I can see that's going to be 5 parts per million there, which is on the okay range, because we're not that end of the cycle yet, so we're not going to get much in that range at the moment. So that's basically a quick little run through on how easy these test kits are to use. Very, very simple to use, and a lot of people don't test their tanks enough, to be honest, and a lot of people just wing it and they wonder why things are going wrong. And this is because they're not doing these tests, and they are imperative that you do your tests to keep up with things, because sometimes you may have a, especially if you've got heavily planted tanks or heavy rock work and stuff of that nature, you can always get one of your fish, especially if you've got a lot of fish, a lot of community fish and different things, you could always get something that's going to go into the rocks or go behind the rocks, go in amongst the weed, die off due to maybe something, or it's got a bacterial infection, it just dies for whatever reason, and you don't know it's missing, and then suddenly you find out that obviously there is signs that things are going to go wrong, your fish aren't going to be too happy, and you're going to notice something's wrong. But if you religiously sit down once every Sunday, that's what I do, sit down every Sunday, get the test kit out, and I test all my little tanks, make sure everything's up to speed, and then I can rectify it if there's something wrong, because there's always something going wrong somewhere in these little tanks. You may have a large snail or something die off in your tank, for instance, and that is going to create a big ammonia spike in there when that starts rotting and decaying down, and you're going to get a little ammonia spike in there, which could obviously start harming your fish and your inhabitants as well. And especially if you've got shrimp, they can wipe your shrimps out in no time at all if you keep fish with shrimp and you lose a fish and you wonder why your shrimps are dying off all of a sudden. It could be because a little fish has died and gone somewhere and you haven't seen it. You may have 12, 13, say, little tetras or rasboras in there with them, and if you don't religiously count them every day, which I know is hard sometimes because they're always back and forwards very, very quickly, and you just lose count so quick, and people don't tend to do it. But it's really a good rule of thumb to do it every Sunday, and keep on top of these things. Make sure your little guys, your little fish mates stay nice and safe, and you know where you are. Right, I'm going to go and wash out all these little vials now, and I'll be back in a couple of seconds. Right guys, that's all the dishes done. What I tend to do is rinse everything out in nice warm water, put some tissue paper down, invert everything onto the tissue paper, and that'll pull all that moisture out of there, so you'll have lovely nice dry jars and lids and all the stuff. Next time you want to come and use it, you can leave it on there for an hour or so and let it all dry out, and then pack it all away again nice and neat, all ready for the next go for the following Sunday. That's the way I do things, and it's never failed me so far. Like I said, with doing these tests, I've caught some really nasty ammonia spikes just in time, and I could imagine, I could get the water changes done, dilute that ammonia down as best as I can. And I've had that in marine systems, and especially when I've been keeping corals and when I used to breed coral, sometimes you'd have, like, they're called turbo snails, and for a reason. They are very quick little snails and they whiz about all over the place. But one of those can get wedged in one of the outflow or inlet pipes, or just die off for some reason, and that can have a real adverse effect on your system and your parameters and how things run. So you can nip that in the bud very, very quickly, do your water changes, get it back to speed, and you'll have minimal losses. But like I said, I've done this now for many years and it's never steered me wrong. I tell you what, and it's always the time when you don't do your tests, and it always amazes me. Some people, they spend so much money. I've known people spend thousands and thousands of pounds on marine setups, various other setups, you know, I'm talking big money on setups, and they fail to do the most simple thing, and that's with one of these test kits, and they've lost hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of fish and inverts and all different things just through not doing these little tests. And they're so simple to do, and it's just part of the hobby. And I think if anyone's really into their hobby, it's serious enough, you know, this is part of your armoury. You've got to have your test kits and you've got to do them regularly to stay on top of things. Now, another thing that JBL have sent me is one of these little test kits as well. Now, these have been on the market for some time. I wasn't aware of them because I always stuck to the old type of test kits, but this new ProScan it's an app on your phone. Now, I'm a bit old school. I like the old tests and the drops, and I like to stay, you know, on those lines. But they've got these new ones out now. So what I'll do is I'll just shift this to one side now, and I'll close up this little case. Put all this stuff in there so you can see a little bit more. There's not a lot in the box because you're using your phone, so but basically it comes with your ProScan card with your colours on, which is that. Put that the right way up, Mark. There you are. Comes with a little booklet on the instructions on what to do. Step by step, you've got all these different scanning codes here that you can just put your phone on, scan it, and then it's got it all written down as well. That's German. There you go, there's the UK version there. You've got to download the JBL app, which is free of charge, into your smartphone, and it gives you a readout from your phone. Now, you use this calibrated colour card enclosed. Please follow the instructions, blah blah blah. So I see what you do. You open this up and you've got X amount of tests in this. Now, I'm not sure if you've used these before, but these are just dippers. You basically just dip that into the aquarium water, up over the last one there, turn it to the side, shake off the excess, put that to one side for a period of time. Now what you do is you download the app. Now I'm a bit stuck to do this one because I use my phone to video with, so I can't actually do it because I'm recording, so I'll have to just go through it. Now what you do is you download the app onto your phone and you just basically follow the instructions it says here. There you go. If I just put that up there, so you can pause that then and you can read that yourself, and it shows you exactly and tells you what to do on that one. Okay, that's the French version, so that's all the information that you need, okay guys, on there. And then basically what you do is you put your strip up there, and that corresponds colour with colour, and your phone then will give you the values of what you've got. So that's really, really handy. like I said, I'm sorry about I can't give you a demonstration on that, but to me it looks very, very simple. These dip testers are pretty good. Whether or not they're 100% accurate, I prefer the original tests, to be quite honest with you, but it's another way and another form of testing your water from JBL, and it looks quite interesting. And I'll do it on my phone, and on the next couple of videos, or if I remember, I'll try and do it, and I'll tell you what the results were and how to do it. No doubt there's a lot of videos on YouTube here anyway that will be showing you these. People with cameras, and they can do it on their smartphones as well, so I'd probably suggest you go and look at one of those. You'll probably get a better idea of what's going on. But they look fantastic. I'll give those a whirl as well. Right guys, we're all packed away now. Everything's packed up, dried away, and packed away nicely now for next time when we do our tests. So just remember, this is the test kit you're going to be getting free of charge. I'll send it to you wherever you are in this planet, and it is an amazing, really is an amazing piece of kit, and well worth having. And like I say, a big thanks to JBL for sponsoring this tank build here behind me. And they put up all the substrate, the undergravel heating, the test kits that you've seen, both these test kits, and the mobile phone, the smartphone app test kit as well. Also the pumps as well, which we've got in the tank left and right. Those two little 500Ts, little Pro Flows, which are doing a fantastic job of circulating the water through this through the bench tank here. And they give us that lovely aquascape kit as well, which we're going to do a review on. I'll do another review on that, obviously, as the plants grow and we can trim things back and we can get in there and we can utilise them a bit more as well. I'll do a little review on those as well, because they're also fantastic little bits of kit, amazing little bits of stainless steel, and they're going to be come in very handy for all the different the trees and all the different plants that we've got in the aquascape at a later date. Now don't forget guys, to win this you've got to comment on the video, okay, on this video. So remember that when you watch this video, say share it with your mates, whoever you like. You probably won't if you want to win it, because you'll be keeping the numbers down, which is I know how you're thinking. And but yeah, you've got to comment on it. Just give it a comment, give it a thumbs up, give it a whatever, but make sure that you leave a comment on there, and then it will pick you randomly from that channel, because it only picks a winner from TubeBuddy from the actual video itself, and not from everybody who is subscribed to the channel. Okay, so like I said, the last time there was only 33 comments on the original one, and so literally it would have been one of the 33 of you guys that commented on there that would have won that. So if you want a chance of winning it, leave that little like, leave a little message, whether it be I hope it's me or whatever you like, and then you'll be in the running and a chance to win this. Okay, anyway guys, I hope you liked that little video on the TESTLAB and doing the little tests. Always remember to do your tests, and you'll have a lot more success and happier fish keeping if you do your tests. And as always, you're all stars. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. We're nearly at 2,000 subs, and as soon as we are, I'm going to pick a winner, and that's going to be one of yours. Okay, love you all. Take care, and see you in the next edition of Marks Aquatics. Bye for now.
Just me and my guitar.